I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your patience on this one. But now, guys, it is finally time to talk a brand new DC film. So Blue Beetle is the latest film of the DCEU, even though the DCEU is concluding very, very soon, and this character is going to be the first, technically the first character of James Gunn's DCEU, but nonetheless, Blue Beetle is the latest DC film. In Blue Beetle, we follow a character named Jamie Reyes, who in the film is portrayed by Zola Meridiu. If I just butchered her name, I am so sorry. Who has just recently graduated college, is trying to get a new job, and essentially he has been given an alien scarab who has chosen him as a symbiotic host. And well, who do we have now? Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was a character that I had no idea of its existence. I mean, within the DC lore that I knew, Blue Beetle was just a character that was just some random person that I had no idea about. It was actually supposed to come out to HBO Max before it was picked up for theatrical release, which only showed the confidence that people had in this movie. In my review of Gran Turismo, I was originally going to see a screening of Blue Beetle, and unfortunately, due to COVID, I could not go to it, so I missed my screening. But I finally saw the film a couple of days ago, and man, I'm so happy to say that Blue Beetle is an absolute joy to watch. This movie, I walked out of Blue Beetle with such a big smile on my face. The performances, I should say, for the most part, I would say about 90% of them are actually all pretty great. Zola Meridiu, again, I apologize if I butchered your name. He is absolutely terrific as Jamie Reyes and as the Blue Beetle. Cobra Kai was a series that I had started but I never finished, but I know how great he was in Cobra Kai, and knowing he was going to be in this film, I was very excited to see how he would be carrying and being the lead in a DC film, just a superhero film in general, and I thought he did such a phenomenal job bringing a bunch of charisma, heart, emotional, some great humor. His comedic timing, especially when he has the suit first on, they're first showing off the suit and the capabilities, and his reaction to that thing. I mean, you guys may have seen it if you've seen the movie already. I mean, it's been out already for a week, and again, I do apologize that it took longer to get this review out than expected. If he is going to be the first official character in the DCU, I'm so excited to see where they take this character. The thing I loved the most of this movie was the family dynamic of Blue Beetle. This movie is just another origin story. There's no way to go around that. I mean, Blue Beetle is one of the many origin stories that we've got in comic book films, like what the past 10 years at the very, very least. What makes this movie work so well is that family dynamic that the whole family has and their chemistry, the banter with one another, and especially with the relationship, especially not only with Jamie's character, but just with each other and how they integrate themselves in the story. The father is great, the mother is great, the grandma, oh my god, the grandma in this movie is just so damn perfect. George Lopez as the uncle in this movie, oh my god, George Lopez was absolutely brilliant in this film, showcasing, I mean, come on, he's a comedian. Of course, he's going to have some of the funniest moments of the entire film. The relationship that Jamie has with his sister, I thought was such a well-done brother-sister relationship that really, at one specific point, did get me very, very emotional. Something else that I really enjoyed about this movie was the directing by Angel Manuel Soto. Angel's direction not only guides us through such a great family dynamic, but what is really just a really good, if not a great DC film. This one was not only a great family story, it's a great coming of age story, and not to mention, we just have a really good, what could have been just a generic origin story, and Angel's directing along with Joel's performance and with the storytelling. What we have here is just such a well done, and not just a solid comic book movie, but a great comic book movie at that. The film's action is so much fun. Please say in the comments if you didn't see this way at all, but this is just how I felt while I was watching the film. Blue Beetle reminded me essentially of DC's version of, let's say, I don't know, Upgrade, in terms of especially how the suit was helping Jamie out, or how Jamie didn't want to do certain things. This movie reminded me a lot of Upgrade, but essentially take Upgrade and put it into a superhero film, and that's Blue Beetle right there in a nutshell, and I loved that so much. It's well choreographed, well filmed, and there are so many fun aspects when it comes to Jamie talking to the suit. There's also some very interesting body horror aspects that I was genuinely not expecting for this movie. Seriously, the film's action is a lot of fun. I have to talk about the score by Bobby Krilic. Bobby Krilic's score in this movie, to simply put, is badass. I recognize him because he did the phenomenal musical score from the game Returnal, which is, by the way, an awesome PS5 game that I don't hear anyone talk about anymore. Seriously, if you have a PS5, pick up Returnal. His musical score is incredible. Bobby Krilic's musical score, especially the theme for Blue Beetle, gave me chills every time I heard it. Seriously, his score is that good. As much as I enjoyed Blue Beetle, I do have a few issues with this movie. Mainly being the villain, or I should say the villains of this movie. One of them is played by, and I came about to say this, one of them is played by Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon's villain in this movie is nothing more than this a generic 101 movie villain. And it blows my mind knowing that Susan Sarandon, who is a terrific actress by the way, she is nothing more than as a generic villain. How do you put such a great actress like Susan Sarandon into a role like this? The other villain in this movie was just, again, another very generic villain. This villain was just, the villain was just there, in all honesty. While the third act is so much fun to watch, at the same time, it is a very generic third act. I mean, it's very generic. Still, nonetheless, it's a very fun third act, but nonetheless, you cannot but feel that it's just very generic. So overall, Blue Beetle is a movie that I walked out of with a big smile on my face. Now, sure, and do not get me wrong, Blue Beetle is another origin story that has some generic villains, absolutely. But at the same time, the execution of this movie and the family dynamic make this movie an absolute joy to watch. All in all, I'm going to give Blue Beetle a 4.25 out of 5. Guys, this movie is unfortunately doing not with the box office, so please, guys, go check out Blue Beetle. It's such a joy to watch. It's a great time of the movies, and it is a great DC film. So comment down below and let me know. Have you guys seen Blue Beetle? What did you all think of it? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'm also on Twitch. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the names are in the description below. I hope you enjoyed my review of Blue Beetle. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell for my latest review goes live. If you guys want to see my previous 2 reviews, please click it right there or right there. And of course, the next review or video goes live. I will see you all next time.